What is happening? Today we're going to be talking about how to create a note on a property. So, there's a lot of information out there about the note investing space, how to buy notes, how to sell notes, how to, go in and buy, a second lien note, first lien note, what have you. Today we're going to be talking about how to create notes from scratch. So you're actually going to be originating the note. This is what I personally do in my business. So you can create the note, you can hold on to it and receive that passive income coming in, or you can take that note and create it and then sell it to a note buyer and make a profit off it. So two things that I do, personally in my business is my main investing strategy right now. I'm just going to explain to you guys really quick kind of how I create my notes, the process for creating a note, and pretty simple 4-step process. First things first, you got to own the property free and clear. Now, what I mean by that is most banks will not allow you to create a note if they have an existing mortgage on the property. So if you have, let's say you own your own personal house with you financing through a bank, that bank will not allow you to resell that property unless they won't allow you to resell the property unless the bank is paid off. So you can't create a note on it without paying off the bank. Obviously creating a note is offering seller financing, so you're not going to get enough money up front with that seller financing to pay the bank off. So most banks will not allow you to resell or create a note unless they are paid off. So either you got to have the property free and clear, meaning you have no debt on it, or bought it for cash, or you have a private lender who will allow you to resell the property on a note. He'll probably have to be, on the sign-off process when you sell the note to when you create the note and sell it to a buyer. And those payment terms, the private lender will probably have to sign off on that in order to do that. In most states, is going to require that. So either you got a private lender who invested with you in the property, or you own the property free and clear. So secondly, let's say you own the property free and clear, and you're ready to sell your property on create a note, sell it on seller financing, land contract, contract for deed, whatever it's called in your state. A lot of different names for it. But you got to find a buyer, right? So you can post the property to Facebook. Facebook, for personally the deals that I do is in smaller cities, smaller towns. I invest in the Midwest and several different states. Facebook is the best tool for me for what I'm doing with lower income properties. It gets a lot of attention, gets a lot of traffic. You can also post it on Zillow, Realtor.com. You can post it on ForRent.com because this is owner financing. So a lot of people do think of it as a kind of a rental property. But these are all good places to post. And then you have to start vetting the people who are applying to purchase the property. So if you've never done it before, one thing I do suggest is you get a rental property management company to vet the buyer. Obviously you're not renting the property, but it is very similar to a rental deal because they're going to be making monthly payments. So, you have to make sure, in accordance with your state law that the person is able to enter into that contract, that their debt to income ratio is correct. You're not allowed to lend someone or create a mortgage on someone with someone unless they have the correct debt to income ratio. So these are all things you have to abide by. Rental property management company that specializes in that state or county should be able to help walk you through all of that. They're going to, run the credit score. They're going to check the references. And if you've never done it before, it's something I suggest. With my first property, this is what I did. They charged me a flat fee of $500, and they were able to find a qualified buyer, run the background, everything like that. And they actually brought me several buyers for it, and then I chose which one I wanted to sell to. So that's something I definitely suggest if you've never done before. Once you do your first deal, you can go out and do it on your own. Like I personally, I just, I run the credit and do all those things now, just personally myself, just to save money, just because, I kind of understand the process now. But once you find that qualified buyer, someone who meets the criteria, you come to terms with that person. So let's say you're selling the property for $50,000 with $5,000 down, which is 10%. Either you're going to have a note for $45,000 at whatever APR you come up with, 6 or 9%, over 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, whatever the monthly payments are that you want. The next step is I suggest you use a mortgage loan originator. They're called RMLOs, which stands for Residential Mortgage Loan Originator, but commonly referred to as Mortgage Loan Originator. So I would suggest finding an RMLO to help you kind of walk you through the process of creating that mortgage, that note that you know, you're going to be entering into with that qualified buyer that you have. You can also use a lawyer. On my first couple deals, I used a lawyer just without a residential mortgage loan originator. You know, a lawyer who's specific to that state. They were actually in the same county as the property being sold. So you can use a lawyer, but the only issue with that is it will bounce you out of certain note buyers. Will only buy the note if it is originated with a mortgage loan originator. So you can use a lawyer in combination with a mortgage loan originator. Some mortgage loan originators just do it all themselves. It just depends on the services they offer. There's a lot of different ones that you can use. Most of them are state specific. I'm going to try to provide some links to some common mortgage loan originators that are in the industry that you could reach out to and see if they service your state. But yeah, so you know, step 3 is after obviously you get the qualified buyer, you find this mortgage loan originator to help you originate the contract. They might be able to do everything for you, or they might also need a lawyer to assist with that specific state. Like I said, my first couple deals, I just used a lawyer. And you know, you go ahead and you create the contract, you tell the lawyer the terms, you set up a closing date, and you know, typically the buyer is just going to bring I require a cashier's check for the earnest money, or not for the earnest money, but down payment, you know, on the property, and they can hand you the down payment money right there at closing. You sign the agreement, and then make sure that the lawyer takes that agreement down to the county courthouse and records that. You want to make sure that this is actually recorded with the state. Some lawyers don't do it, and some do. I always pay my lawyer to do it for me. Just makes it easier on me that I don't have to worry about it. You want to make sure that it's recorded with the state because it makes the note cleaner. I mean, legally you're required to, so that's step 1. And then secondly, you know, it makes the note cleaner so that when you do go to sell it, you can actually, you know, sit there and say, look, this is recorded with the state, here's all the documentation. Now, once again, do not accept legal advice from me. I'm not a lawyer, I'm not licensed, so, you know, take it, you know, do not accept legal advice from me, just, you know, consult your lawyer. Every state is different. You know, I invest in the Midwest, a bunch of different states, so, you know, everything is subject to change. So that's why I always recommend hiring these professionals. Even if you got to hire all 3, a residential rental property management company to come in and qualify the buyer, a mortgage loan originator, and you know, possibly a lawyer to assist in recording the contract, everything like that. You know, all 3 in combination, even if you have to pay $500, $1,000, whatever it is for each one, it's going to make things so much easier. It's going to make sure it gets done correctly, and at the end of the day, you're going to be able to sell that note for a higher multiple because you've used the correct method, right? So, you know, one of the worst things that can happen is if you don't get these steps set up correctly and you go to sell your note and no one wants to buy it because you didn't follow the correct process. So hiring professionals to do it for you is the best way I have found, and that's pretty much all you have to do. I mean, once that's recorded and everything is going well, you just want to make sure that you record all the payments. You have some way to track the payments that the buyer is making to you every month, because obviously with the note you want to make sure that, you know, most people won't buy notes unless they're seasoned for a year, so you want to record all of those payments that come in through that year. Whether they're sending you a check, just take a picture of that check, you can take a picture of the check and record it, you know, save it in a file. If they're doing it via PayPal, you just, you know, you have the documentation via PayPal, you can save that in a folder. However they're paying you, you just want to make sure, you know, it's not cash, right? To make those monthly payments. So that's pretty much it. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Like I said, I'm going to share some links to some residential mortgage loan originators to help assist you guys. You can reach out to see if they service your state and assist you with that if you like to view that. So click the video, like, subscribe if you like what I'm helping you guys out with, hopefully, and hopefully you got some benefit from this video. Until next time.